I am Leonidas, son of Anaxandridas, king of Sparta. From my birth, my life was dedicated to one thing: service to Sparta. I was born into the Agead dynasty, the older of the two royal families of our city-state, and it was this birthright that shaped my destiny. Sparta, that revered land of discipline and warriors, was more than a city to me. It was the very essence of my being. Everything I am and everything I have done is for Sparta. I was not raised to inherit the throne. My older half-brother Cleomenes held that right. But in Sparta, it matters little whether one is born a king or a pauper. Our upbringing is harsh, demanding discipline and self-sacrifice from all who seek to live within our walls. As a Spartan, I was subjected to the agoge, the rigorous military training that molds boys into warriors. It was here that I learned the essential values of Spartan life: obedience, endurance, courage, and cunning. In the agoge, we were stripped of individual desires, taught to endure pain, hunger, and the elements. Weakness was not an option. It was eradicated, as was fear. As the years passed, I grew strong, both in mind and body, but it was the mind that the agoge sought to forge most of all. The battlefield is not just a place for brute strength. It is a place where strategy rules, where intellect can overcome even the most powerful enemy. This lesson would serve me well in the years to come. When Cleomenes died without leaving a male heir, I ascended the throne. I was not inexperienced, but even so, the burden of kingship was heavy upon my shoulders. A Spartan king is not like other monarchs. We rule not by divine right but through action, honor, and service to our people. We lead in battle, but we are bound by the laws and customs of the city-state, just like any other Spartan. My role was to guide Sparta with wisdom, protect its people, and lead its warriors in defense of our land. Sparta's glory lay not in luxury or wealth, but in its reputation as the most formidable military power in Greece. I was determined to uphold this legacy, as were the Spartans who stood beside me. But I knew, even as a young man, that the greatest threat to our way of life was looming on the horizon. Persia, the greatest empire the world had ever known, had already begun its incursions into Greek territory. My mind often drifted to the stories of their vast armies, their wealth, and their determination to subdue all who stood against them. Years passed, and Persia grew bolder. Under King Xerxes, they amassed an army unlike any the world had seen before. Their intentions were clear. They would march across Greece, subjugating city after city, crushing all resistance. I knew that if Sparta did not stand firm, our land, and all of Greece, would fall into their hands. When the call came for Greece to unite against this vast foe, I answered, as did many others. Athens, Thebes, Corinth, they all played their part. But it was the Spartans who were asked to stand at the forefront, to be the spearhead of resistance. The decision was made to confront the Persians at Thermopylae, a narrow pass that would serve as a natural choke point, forcing Xerxes' immense army to fight on terms more favorable to us. I led 300 of my finest warriors, each man handpicked for his strength, bravery, and skill. These men were not just my soldiers. They were brothers, comrades forged in the fires of war, bound together by loyalty and love for our homeland. As we prepared for battle, I knew that this would be no ordinary fight. The odds were insurmountable, and we were outnumbered beyond comprehension. But in this knowledge, there was no fear. For a Spartan, there is no greater honor than to die in service to our people, to live dishonorably, to flee, to surrender. These were fates far worse than death. When we arrived at Thermopylae, we took our positions, bolstering the defenses with the help of other Greek allies. The pass was narrow, just wide enough for a small number of soldiers to fight at once, which would prevent the Persians from using their overwhelming numbers against us. For 2 days, we held them off. The Persians sent wave after wave, but we stood our ground. My men fought with the ferocity of lions, unyielding, relentless. The Persian dead piled up, and their morale faltered. It seemed, for a time, that we might indeed accomplish the impossible. But treachery intervened. A Greek named Ephialtes betrayed us, showing Xerxes a hidden path through the mountains that would allow the Persians to flank us. When I learned of this, I knew our fate was sealed. There would be no victory, no miraculous stand that would save us. But even in this knowledge, we did not falter. I ordered most of our Greek allies to retreat, to live and fight another day. But the Spartans, along with a handful of Thespians and Thebans who chose to stay, we would remain. We would make our final stand here, at the gates of fire, and show the world what it meant to be a Spartan. The third day dawned, and the Persians came at us from both sides. Our shields held for a time, but eventually they were shattered. My men fell around me, one by one, but they fell with honor. I fought to the last, knowing that my death would not be the end of our struggle, but the beginning of a greater resistance. For every Persian that fell to our spears, for every drop of Spartan blood spilled, we gave hope to Greece. I died at Thermopylae, as did my 300 warriors. But our sacrifice was not in vain. News of our defiance spread across Greece, inspiring cities to unite against the Persian invaders. Though Thermopylae was lost, the Persian advance slowed, and ultimately, the Greeks triumphed. At the Battle of Salamis, the Athenian navy shattered Xerxes' fleet, and at Plataea, the Greek armies drove the Persians from our lands for good. I do not regret my death. I knew from the moment we set out for Thermopylae that it would be my final campaign. But what greater way is there to die than in defense of one's home, one's family, one's very way of life? I did not live for glory, for riches, or for comfort. I lived for Sparta, and in my death, I ensured that Sparta would endure. Even now, as my story is told and retold, I am not remembered as a king or a ruler, but as a man who stood with his brothers in the face of impossible odds. I am remembered as one who gave his life for a cause greater than himself. And that, above all, is the greatest achievement of my life. The words inscribed on the stone at Thermopylae still echo through the ages. Go, tell the Spartans, stranger passing by, that here, obedient to their laws, we lie. It is not just a tribute to those who fell, but a reminder of what it means to be Spartan: obedience, sacrifice, and an unyielding will to protect what is ours. This, then, is my story. I am Leonidas, son of Anaxandridas, king of Sparta, defender of Greece. And though my body lies in the dust of Thermopylae, my spirit endures in the hearts of all who fight for freedom, for honor, and for their homeland.